Hello, good evening. I'm Roger Johnson. Monday evening. Thanks for joining us. Very warm welcome to North West tonight. Our top story this evening. Two men appear in court charged with murder after a human torso was found in Salford Woodland. More human remains have been found in other locations. We'll have the very latest for you. Also tonight, the long wait for a transplant. We're going to follow Sam in an exclusive series with the surgical team at Wythenshawe Hospital. Disappointed, but still defiant, Barrows football fans say that their future is bright despite playoff heartbreak.
We'll be back, we'll be stronger, and listen, we go again in League Two, and we'll be up there again.
Join me later as we welcome home the North West cheerleading champions.
And we started off the week on scenes like this, decent spells of sunshine, but how things can change. It clouded over and we've had some fairly heavy downpours of rain. How are we doing tomorrow? Join me at the end of the programme. I'll give you all the details.
Two men appeared in court today, charged with murder after a decapitated torso was found in Woodland in Salford 3 weeks ago. Other body parts have since been recovered from 3 locations. The two men, who both used a Polish translator in court, are believed to have shared a house with their alleged victim. Mairead Smith was in court. She joins us now live from Salford. Mairead.
Yes, Roger. Greater Manchester Police have told us that this is where the man lived. They believe that he was killed towards the end of March or at the start of April, and they say that they are working to recover and reunite the victim with his family. They say that they want to bring a dignified end to this terrible scenario. Now, Greater Manchester Police have been working on this investigation for 3 weeks now, and they say that despite the charges brought today, their work is far from over.
This is where the investigation began after a man's torso was found wrapped in plastic on wetlands at Kersal Dale in Salford. That was Thursday, the 4th of April. Greater Manchester Police carried out a huge search of the area. Over the weekend, that search moved to more locations as more body parts were found at Linishaw Colliery Woods on Saturday and Blackleach Reservoir yesterday. Today, yet more remains were found on a railway line close to where police say the victim, a man in his 60s, lived here on Worsley Road in Winton. Detectives say he shared this house with the two men who are charged with his murder. People living nearby are shocked by what has happened.
Generally, it's very, very quiet and friendly neighbours, so it's really out of character for this area.
Well, the street's quite quiet, really, so if something like this happen, it's a bit shocking.
It's a bit bizarre when you see the amount of police and CSI that's been there for 5 days now.
68-year-old Michał Jarosław Polowski and 42-year-old Marcin Majcherkiewicz appeared before magistrates in Tameside this afternoon.
Well, the men, as you said, listened with the help of Polish translators in court today. They heard that they are charged with the murder of a person unknown, and they've been remanded in custody and will appear before Manchester Crown Court tomorrow morning.
Mairead, thank you very much. Mairead Smith. Now, there are fewer than 150 lung transplants performed in the UK every year. Just 6 centres are able to carry out the operation. And one of them is at Wythenshawe Hospital in Greater Manchester. Well, BBC North West Tonight has been allowed exclusive access to the transplant centre at Wythenshawe. And this week, every evening, our health correspondent Jill Dummigan will be following their work and particularly the journey of one patient whose name is Sam.
I know it needs to happen. You look at this disease, you read about it, you hear about it, and your life is not long expectancy.
I'm under no illusion that there may be a time where I wake up in the morning and I haven't got a husband anymore and my children don't have a father. So we need to do everything we can to make sure that that does not happen.
Early this morning, Sam Atherton was woken by the news that he has a chance of life.
Answered the phone to Laura, one of the lung transplant nurses, and she proceeded to tell me, you know, they've got an offering of a match. She's telling me to come down for 8 o'clock, and then she got upset as well on the phone, and then I started having tears rolling down and the emotions just set in.
Sam is in the late stages of pulmonary fibrosis, a degenerative and often fatal lung disease.
Any little thing I started to do moving around it, get out of breath very easily, and it's slowly gotten worse over the last few months, and especially over the last, I would probably say, 6 weeks or so.
I'm under no illusion that things are not going to get any better. So without this lung transplant, we don't have that time. It's reality. It is what it is, but we're here and today is a good day.
The Wythenshawe team's in constant contact with specialist retrieval clinicians who've travelled to the donor's hospital.
So I've just heard they've done a bronchoscopy where they look down into the donor lungs, and so far that all looks good. So we've had an image sent to us, and myself and the surgeon, we're happy with that.
The retrieval team will now physically look at the lungs and take a series of tests. At any point, they may discover that the lungs aren't suitable for transplant.
Sometimes there's injury, there's trauma. If the donor's been involved in a road traffic accident, sometimes the lungs could have an infection in them.
The last time we came in, which was, I think it was July, the timing of probably 20 minutes before they told us we would expect to go down, I was gowned, shaved. They just come into the room and said, sorry, it's not going to go ahead. Just hoping that I'm not going to get back in the car today and go home. So yeah, fingers crossed, everything's crossed. And yeah, and pray for the donor as well, you know, because someone's had to lose their life for me to gain, you know, some lungs.
Left upper 46, left lower 33.
The test results are back.
Right,
if it is good, I will go for it.
Yeah.
After further conversations with the retrieval team, surgeons at Wythenshawe make a final decision.
Okay.
That's a nice face to see.
Yeah, well, I'm coming with some very good news.
Oh,
okay, it's going to go ahead. All right? Yeah?
Oh dear.
Really chuffed.
When we're ready, we'll come for you, take you down in a chair, and then we'll get the show on the road. Yeah?
Wow.
Scary though, isn't it?
It's come. Finally come. My next hardest thing is going to be saying goodbye to my wife, my children. It's going to be hard for these guys. Once I go down, I don't know nothing about it. I thought I would be a lot more nervous than I am. I think I'm more overcome that bit because I know I need to have it.
I just want him to have a lung transplant and have the best chance at living.
He's asleep now.
And carrying on and watching his children grow. This man has now got a chance at life.
Jill Dummigan, BBC North West Tonight at Wythenshawe Transplant Centre.
It's amazing, isn't it? Incredible work by the medical team there. And of course from the donor's family. In the second report tomorrow, we're going to see how Sam got on. Our thanks to Sam and his family for letting us follow them, and of course to the doctors and nurses at the hospital for giving us such access. Jill has literally, as you'll see over the course of the week, follows the process the whole way through. It's incredible television. I hope you can join us tomorrow. Right, we've got sport on the way with Richard. Kay's got the weather for us as well, but before all of that, social workers who were handling the adoption of a baby boy who was murdered by his prospective new mum saw no evidence that she was hurting him. An inquest is taking place into the death of 13-month-old Leland James Corkill, who was fatally shaken by Laura Castle at Barrow-in-Furness in January 2021. She was jailed for life for his murder, you might remember. We've reported the story many times. The assistant coroner today said it's clear that social workers didn't know what was going on behind closed doors. Plans for the Mottram bypass are set to go ahead after a legal challenge by environmental campaigners failed. The Campaign for the Protection of Rural England wanted a review over the environmental impact consideration of alternative sites and over the project's carbon footprint. It's hoped that the bypass will ease traffic travelling east from Greater Manchester over the Pennines to Sheffield. Part of the mountain road between the north of the Isle of Man and Douglas is closed until 10 o'clock tomorrow night. That's to prepare for the TT. It's to facilitate carriageway repairs, line painting and signage. Now, Blackpool's first art trail has opened, and as you can see, you may recognise this chap. It features a familiar herd of elephants, inspired by David McKee's popular children's character Elmer the Patchwork Elephant. More than 70 eye-catching designs are in place across Blackpool to raise money for Brian's House. It's the only children's hospice on the Fylde coast, as Suzanne Haley reports.
There was once a herd of elephants. Elephants like this, that, or the other. So the story goes about Elmer the elephant. Now they've made their way to Blackpool. Elmer's big parade is here in aid of Brian House Children's Hospice. Brian House provides respite, palliative and end-of-life care for children with life-limiting conditions.
So this is one of our young Elmers, so this one's painted in the classic Elmer design. Brian House has so much to offer to the community of Blackpool, and with this we're raising vital awareness about what the service that we provide here is and how people can get involved. Brian House costs over £1.3 million a year to run, and we get about £200,000 from the government, which is unfortunately going to reduce over the next few years, and the auction and the overall trail we're hoping to raise over £150,000 for Brian House.
And our elephant's called Brian. We had to call him Brian. It had to be Brian after Brian House. And yeah, it's been a really great project to invite all the families in to put their fingerprints onto the elephant.
Local school children have created some of the designs which all feature in the parade.
I've always loved art, and I always used to love Elmer, so it just makes me enjoy all of it. So far, I've seen 20 Elmers.
20, so you've got quite a few more to go there, haven't you?
Still got 51 to go.
Everyone gets to have a go at designing because it gets the whole community involved.
You get to show off like your style, and you get to show off like why you are different.
And here we are on the trail where the eclectic elephants are already attracting a lot of attention. Blackpool artist Natalie Radcliffe wanted to capture the essence of the town in her design.
Blackpool is known for its bright lights and ballroom in the tower, and I wanted to represent the heart that features on the tower right here, and it just feels like the tower is the sort of pinnacle of Blackpool.
The trail will run until June. Elmer and friends will be auctioned soon after. Suzanne Haley, BBC North West Tonight, Blackpool.
Can't miss him, can you?
Can't, Rich.
Richard's here, as you can see. Let's round up the sport. Lots to talk about, but the Premier League title race still in Manchester City's hands as we sit here.
Yeah, it is. A good weekend for the champions, Roger. They won 2-0 at Nottingham Forest. One to forget, though, for Liverpool. They're realistically out of the race after a 2-2 draw at West Ham. A match that also included a touchline spat between Mo Salah and Jurgen Klopp. The Liverpool boss played the incident down after the match. At the other end of the table, great news for Everton, who are safe after a 1-0 win over Brentford, with Burnley still battling as well.
I'm over the moon. I mean, I was dreading it for the whole year. So just us securing Premier League status, it's just mesmerising.
I'm just so pleased. Fabulous, yeah. Couldn't go through it again. I've had enough last season.
The club have been through enough in the last, couple of years. So it was great, especially after the win against Liverpool. It was amazing.
Thank goodness for the Blues. Tonight, Preston North End hosts Leicester in the Championship. As for our EFL teams chasing promotion or the playoffs, in League One, Bolton had to settle for a playoff spot. Wanderers, who drew 3-3 at Peterborough, will face Barnsley, with Blackpool missing out, unfortunately. And in League Two, Crewe Alexandra earned the right to face Doncaster Rovers in the playoff semi-finals, thanks to a 1-1 draw at Colchester. Crewe finishing 2 places above Barrow, who fell just short of the victory they needed, but ended the season full of pride. This was one of the biggest games in Barrow's recent history, and with Holker Street packed to the rafters, it felt like it.
What needs to change today then that hasn't quite been happening?
Mindset, definitely.
The biggest thing I've ever seen in my life, and the biggest thing my dad's ever seen, and he's about 100 years old. So.
It's a panic, but I'm also confident.
Are you? Are you just saying that, or are you really?
Oh gosh, don't do that to me. No, listen, we can do it, we really can.
Confidence ahead of a make-or-break match, despite an untimely end-of-season slump, with just 1 point from a possible 18. Imagine being the chairman.
The nerves were okay till about an hour ago. I think you'll see today, it's a culmination of everyone coming together, the supporters, the staff. It'll be a great occasion today, no matter what happens.
But against already promoted Mansfield, the tension was clear, with nerves jangling on the pitch and on the terraces. Barrow started slowly, and when Mansfield took the lead, the Bluebirds' promotion prospects looked bleak. But roared on by their passionate fans, Barrow came roaring back and equalised. Just one more goal would do it, but push as they did, the Bluebirds couldn't find one, and those League One promotion dreams were over.
This is a very disappointing end to the season for Barrow. These fans have seen their team come so close. As you can see, they do appreciate the progress that has been made, but go back just a few weeks and it was unthinkable that the Bluebirds wouldn't end up in those playoff positions.
It's disappointing, but I think how far this club's come in the last few years, I think it's something probably to be proud of.
I'm obviously gutted and frustrated with the situation. This game 2 years ago was a relegation game for the club. I think when the dust settles and everybody realises the distance to travel and how far this football club has come in the last 2 years, I'm sure they'll be proud of what's happened.
Is it hard to take because you were so close, so near for so long?
Yes.
Literally, I've just been in tears. It's heartbreaking, but we go again.
It's next season to look forward to, and I think with the manager Pete Wild, we've got nothing to fear.
And there's clearly a feeling that with progress on and off the pitch, next season's promotion push could well take the Bluebirds all the way. Let's hope so. As for the League Two champions Stockport County, they celebrated their fantastic season with a trophy parade in the town yesterday, with thousands of fans turning out to celebrate the side's promotion. 6 years ago, County were down in football's 6th tier, but the club's achieved a rapid recovery. Will play in League One next season.
Right, just before the weather with Kay, on Friday we told you how a cheerleading group from Salford, many of them with disabilities, had conquered the world. Well, this morning the troupe flew home from Florida, clutching the gold medals and the trophy that they had won against all expectations at the World Championships. They're bleary-eyed, they get off the overnight flight. What more could you want than Phil Cunliffe to meet you off the plane?
1, 2, 3,
Cheers for the cheerleading champions. Tired after their 8-hour flight from Orlando, but still smiling.
It feels like happy, proud, celebration.
This has been a dream for our team for quite a while now, and it is amazing. I was very tired on the other day of the competition, but I had people there that supported me.
The team is a mix of athletes with and without disabilities. 10 have additional needs like autism, ADHD and Down syndrome.
Make some noise for Team England.
What a place to do it as well, Disney World. What was that like?
It feels like a magical, powerful thing. It was an amazing thing to do.
So Emily has Down syndrome. She's got a congenital heart condition. Cheer and dance is a massive thing for her. And when Emily had her heart surgery, we had a really difficult time, and the nurse said just told us the fact that one day she'll be going to Disney with the Mickey Mouse ears on. Never did I think it would be to represent a country.
Isla was born without a corpus callosum, which connects both sides of her brain. Her family were told that she may never crawl, never mind cheerlead.
She didn't have the coordination for it, so doing anything that requires coordination now is just
amazing to see her do it, and you know, to watch her perform on her own and part of a team and get the coordination right and just be there with the other girls is just phenomenal.
This team's motto is barrier breakers, history makers, and that's what this is all about. Bringing home a trophy like this for these girls with their disabilities represents triumph over adversity.
Do you feel happy or do you feel
Happy.
sad? Which one? Oh,
Happy and tired.
The driving creative force is Gina, a teacher at a school in Bolton for youngsters with additional needs. Gina led the fundraising campaign to pay for the trip and coaches the athletes.
Some of them have struggles with remembering different things, so to remember a 2-minute routine and to be able to perform it confidently is just outstanding.
While it's goodbye for now, it's hoped the cheerleaders can defend their trophy next year. The national governing body, Sport Cheer England, will have the final say on that. But there's no doubt that this team has shown the way for others to follow. Phil Cunliffe, BBC North West Tonight.
Oh, really well done to them. Absolutely fantastic achievement. Right, Kay's here. As you can see, she's got the weather. We were talking about sticks of rock in Blackpool last week, by the way. Don't know what made me think of that.
Well, actually, Roger, I decided to dress like this stick of rock because I actually thought I looked like this ploughed field.
Well, maybe if the farmer had had a sherry before he ploughed it.
Look at it, though. Honestly, I had to show you this picture. Graham sent it in from Maudsley.
Brilliant.
Have you ever seen? I think it looks like an optical
Do you know what?
illusion.
They're lucky, aren't they? Well, I say lucky. They've been so unlucky with the wet weather. It's great they were able to get out and actually do it.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's mad, crazy picture, Graham. Thank you so much. I've popped another one in because I really couldn't believe it. It totally doesn't look real. He snapped the picture because he didn't want any wind or any weeds to grow, so I thought you would like to see it as well. To today's picture, a bit more of a soggy scene, although still quite arty. Thanks, Griff, on the beach on the Isle of Man. Raining. And the rain is all thanks to low pressure, which is currently to the west of us. It's going to stay to the west as we head through this week. So while we are pulling up milder air, we're also having some spells of wet weather, and currently at the minute we do have some rain out and about, and it has been heavy in some spots, and it will carry on getting a bit more lighter and patchier as we head overnight tonight. We are still likely to see some outbreaks of rain, and I think for the Isle of Man you could well get some heavy downpours towards the end of the night, and for Cumbria as well. Now, it's not going to be cold. Temperatures between about 9 and 10, maybe 11 degrees. So a mild night and a blustering night. We've had a fairly keen breeze today, and overnight we'll have a fairly keen southeasterly wind as well. So we wake up tomorrow morning and there will be a fair amount of cloud out and about. There will still be some patchy outbreaks of rain, but the low pressure system is out to the west. Now, it looks like for the Isle of Man and maybe for parts of Merseyside, we'll start to get some outbreaks of rain. Elsewhere, it should be a drier day. Sunshine for some, especially further towards the east that you are. I think we're likely to see the sunshine turning hazy as we head into the afternoon. But look at the temperatures. I don't think we've had a 19 on the map for what's felt like forever. So milder, but still a fairly keen southeasterly breeze. So that mild air, do you remember last week, some daytime temperatures, we only got 9 degrees, we were drawing down northerly winds, but we're pulling up this southerly air, so it's a milder air mass, but there is still moisture in that air. For Wednesday, now Wednesday doesn't look too bad, variable cloud spells of sunshine, but as we head through Wednesday evening and overnight into Thursday, it does look like we are going to see some fairly heavy rain for a time. Temperatures still hovering, dipping a little bit. As for the bank holiday weekend, we'll say the word's unsettled at this stage, but we'll work on that.
Obviously, because it's a bank holiday.
Obviously, of course.
We talked a lot about the broom cupboard over the last few weeks, have we not?
We're moving out.
3 weeks, that's it.
3 weeks?
Out,
New frocks? You're going to get a new suit?
It'll be the first time for everything, won't it? Yeah, I might do. You never know. Yeah, the builders have packed the drills up, so we get to have a look.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. Have a great evening.
Take care.